Ethan Walsh thought he had it all figured out. $1 million empire, a picture-perfect wedding just 2 weeks away, and a carefully polished life that looked flawless from every angle. But when he walked into that television studio for what should have been a simple interview, everything he thought he knew shattered in an instant. The woman behind the camera was Maya Carter, the one who got away, the one he'd walked out on 7 years ago without looking back. And standing beside her was a 6-year-old boy with curly dark hair and eyes that mirrored Ethan's own, clutching a wooden toy plane that Ethan had carved with his own hands a lifetime ago. What happened next would force Ethan to choose between the perfect lie he'd been living and a messy, beautiful truth he never knew existed, a choice that would cost him everything he thought mattered and give him everything he never knew he needed. If you're watching this, subscribe right now and tell me in the comments where you're from, because this story about second chances and the courage to start over is one you won't want to miss. The studio lights were hotter than Ethan expected. He tugged at his collar and checked his watch again. Brooke was late, which wasn't like her. She'd insisted on being here for this interview, said it would be good for their image as a couple. The wedding was only 2 weeks away, and apparently every moment counted as a photo opportunity. "Mr. Walsh?" A young production assistant poked her head around the doorway. "We're ready for you in 5 minutes." Ethan nodded and smoothed down his tie. The navy blue one Brooke had picked out because it photographed well. He caught his reflection in the mirror, 32 years old, self-made millionaire, about to marry a beautiful woman who understood his world. Everything was exactly as it should be, so why did his stomach feel tight? He shook off the feeling and rehearsed his talking points one more time. Keep it light. Mention the wedding. Talk about the new community center he was funding. Smile. Be charming. Easy enough. The hallway buzzed with activity as crew members hurried past. Ethan stepped out of the dressing room and nearly collided with a woman carrying a clipboard and a coffee cup. "Sorry," she said, steadying her cup. "Are you Ethan Walsh?" "That's me." "Great, I'm Carla Knox, the producer. Our regular host had a family emergency this morning, so we brought in Maya Carter to fill in. She's excellent. You're in good hands." Ethan barely heard the rest of what Carla said. His mind had snagged on the name, Maya Carter. It couldn't be. That was 7 years ago. Different city, different life. "Mr. Walsh?" He blinked. "Yes. Sorry. That's fine." Carla smiled and gestured toward the studio. "Right this way." The set was smaller than he'd imagined. A couple of chairs arranged at an angle, a low table between them, and cameras positioned around them like watchful eyes. The lights blazed down, turning everything slightly unreal. And then he saw her. Maya stood near the host's chair, reviewing notes on her phone. She wore a simple cream blouse and dark pants, her hair pulled back in a neat bun. Professional, polished. Completely different from the girl he remembered in college sweatshirts and paint-stained jeans, but it was her. His chest constricted. 7 years fell away in an instant, and he was 25 again, standing in that tiny apartment, hearing words that cut through him like glass. "I can't do this anymore. You don't trust me, you don't trust us." He'd walked away, believed the lie someone else had told him, never looked back. And now she was here. Maya glanced up from her phone. Her eyes met his across the studio floor, and he watched the color drain from her face. Her hand tightened around her phone. "Ethan?" Her voice was barely audible. Before he could respond, a small figure darted out from behind one of the cameras. A boy, maybe 6 years old, dark curly hair, bright eyes, a gap-toothed smile. "Mum, can I sit over here?" Ethan's heart stopped. The child looked up at him with curiosity, head tilted slightly to one side. "Are you the man from the picture?" "Jordan, honey, go back to—" Maya's voice cracked. She moved toward the boy quickly, placing a gentle hand on his shoulder. "What picture?" Ethan heard himself ask. Jordan's smile widened. "The one in Mom's old photo box. You were holding a toy plane. She said you made it." The studio tilted slightly. Ethan gripped the back of the nearest chair. The toy plane. He'd carved it from balsa wood during finals week, spent hours getting the wings just right. Maya had laughed and kissed him, and put it on her bookshelf like it was made of gold. "Jordan." Maya's voice was firmer now. "Please go sit with Carla. We need to start soon." The boy obeyed, but not before giving Ethan another long, curious look. Ethan couldn't move, couldn't breathe. He stared at Maya, silently begging her to tell him this wasn't what it looked like. But Maya's eyes were glistening, and she looked away. "We should—" She cleared her throat. "We should take our seats." "Maya." "Not now." Her voice was barely a whisper. "Please, not now." A stage manager called out instructions. The cameras powered up. Someone clipped a microphone to Ethan's collar, but he barely felt it. He sat down across from Maya in the chair that suddenly felt like a trap. She shuffled her notes, not looking at him. "We'll start with your background, move into your philanthropic work, and then talk about your upcoming wedding. Sound good?" Her voice was steady, professional, like they were strangers, like she hadn't just shattered his entire world. "Maya, in 5, 4, 3... The stage manager counted down with her fingers, then pointed. A red light flared on the camera. Maya smiled. It didn't reach her eyes. "Good morning. I'm Maya Carter, and today we're joined by entrepreneur and philanthropist Ethan Walsh. Ethan, thank you for being here. Thank you for having me." The words came automatically. His media training kicked in even as his mind reeled. "You've had remarkable success in commercial real estate development. Can you tell us about how you got started?" He talked, said something about hard work and opportunity and taking risks. The words felt like they were coming from someone else. His eyes kept drifting to where Jordan sat, swinging his legs from a tall chair next to Carla. The boy was playing with something in his hands, a small toy airplane. Ethan's throat closed. "And your wedding is coming up soon, correct?" Maya's voice pulled him back. "Yes, 2 weeks. That must be exciting." "It is." The lie tasted bitter. "Your fiancée, Brooke Alden, she's quite accomplished herself. How did you two meet?" Before he could answer, the studio door swung open. Brooke swept in, her blonde hair perfectly styled, her designer dress making a statement. She spotted him immediately and waved, her smile bright and camera-ready, even though the cameras weren't on her. She also spotted Maya. Her smile faltered for just a second before she recovered. Ethan watched Maya's shoulders tense. "I'm sorry," he said abruptly. Could we take a break?" Maya blinked. "We're in the middle of... I need a break." He stood up, pulling off his microphone. "I'm sorry, just a few minutes." He walked off the set before anyone could stop him. Behind him he heard confusion, the stage manager calling out Carla asking what happened, Brooke's heels clicking as she followed him. But all he could see was Jordan's face, those eyes, that smile. The timeline was right. The resemblance was undeniable, and Maya had never told him. Ethan found a quiet hallway away from the studio chaos. He leaned against the wall and pressed his palms against his eyes, trying to breathe. This wasn't happening. This couldn't be happening. "Ethan!" Brooke's voice echoed down the hallway. She appeared around the corner, her expression caught between concern and irritation. "What are you doing? You can't just walk off set like that." "I need a minute." "You need to get back in there. This interview is important for..." "Brooke, not now." She stopped in front of him, arms crossed. "What's going on? And who is that woman?" "Someone I used to know." "Used to know?" Her eyes narrowed. "That's Maya Carter. You dated her in college, didn't you?" He'd mentioned Maya once, years ago, in passing. He was surprised Brooke remembered. "Yes. And you didn't think to mention that your ex-girlfriend would be interviewing you today?" "I didn't know." Brooke studied him. "There's something else. What is it?" Before he could answer, Maya appeared at the end of the hallway. She'd removed her microphone too. Her face was pale but composed. "Ethan, we need to finish the interview. Or we can cancel it, your choice. But we need to decide now." Brooke looked between them. "Who's the kid?" Maya's jaw tightened. "That's what I'd like to know," Ethan said quietly. "This is not the place." Maya's voice was firm. "After the segment. We'll talk after." "Talk about what?" Brooke demanded. "What is going on?" Ethan couldn't answer. He was looking at Maya, seeing the fear and pain in her eyes, and understanding with absolute certainty that his entire life had just been turned inside out. "I'll finish the interview," he said finally. "Then we talk. Alone." Maya nodded once and walked back toward the studio. Brooke grabbed his arm. "Ethan, you're scaring me. What's happening?" "I don't know yet." He gently removed her hand. "But I need to get through this interview first." He walked back to the set before she could argue. The crew was waiting, looking uncertain. Jordan was still sitting with Carla, now coloring in a small notebook. As Ethan passed, the boy looked up and smiled. Ethan's heart cracked. The rest of the interview was torture. Ethan forced himself to focus, to answer Maya's questions, to pretend everything was normal, but his mind kept wandering to the boy sitting just off camera, to the years that had passed, to all the questions burning through him. Maya maintained her professional demeanor, but he could see the strain in the set of her shoulders, the way she gripped her notes too tightly. They were discussing the community center project when Jordan dropped something. The small toy airplane clattered across the floor and rolled to a stop near Ethan's foot. He bent down and picked it up. It was crude but careful, carved from light wood. One wing was slightly crooked. The nose had been sanded smooth. He'd made this 7 years ago, for Maya. And now her son, their son, carried it everywhere. "Sorry," Jordan called out. "It keeps falling." Ethan held it carefully, turning it over in his hands. His initials were still there, carved into the bottom. "EW. It's okay," he managed. "It's a good plane. My mom says you made it a long time ago." "I did. She says you were really good at making things." Ethan's throat tightened. He looked at Maya. She'd stopped pretending to read her notes and was watching him, her eyes filled with something he couldn't name. "She's right," he said softly. "I used to be." "And we're done," the stage manager called out. "That's a wrap. Thank you, everyone." The cameras powered down. The crew began moving equipment. Brooke stood up from where she'd been watching in the wings, already heading toward him. But Ethan was focused on Maya. She stood slowly, carefully, like someone trying not to break. "There's a back door," she said quietly. "Through the green room. We can talk there." He nodded and handed the toy plane back to Jordan. "Take good care of this, okay?" "I always do." Jordan beamed at him. "Are you gonna be on TV again?" "I don't know. I hope so. You seem nice." Something broke loose in Ethan's chest. He had to look away. Maya took Jordan's hand. "Come on, sweetie. We need to talk to Mr. Walsh for a few minutes." "Ethan," Brooke called out. "Where are you going?" "I'll be right back." "No, you won't just—" But he was already following Maya through the maze of hallways, past dressing rooms and storage closets, until they emerged through a side door into the parking lot behind the building. The afternoon sun was bright after the studio lights. Ethan blinked against it, disoriented. Jordan immediately spotted a small patch of grass and ran to it, pulling out the toy plane to fly it in circles. Maya watched him for a moment, then turned to Ethan. "I didn't know you were the interview subject. I was called in last minute. I would never have—" "Is he mine?" The words came out harder than he intended. Maya flinched. "Ethan, just tell me, please." She wrapped her arms around herself. "Yes." The world tilted again. He'd known, of course, had known from the moment he saw Jordan's face, but hearing it confirmed still knocked the air from his lungs. "When—" He couldn't finish the sentence. 7 years ago, right before we broke up. You never told me." "I tried." Her voice broke slightly. "I called once, about a month after you left. Someone else answered your phone." "Brooke." It would have been Brooke. They'd met shortly after his breakup with Maya, when he was angry and hurt and convinced Maya had betrayed him. "What did she say?" "That you didn't want to hear from me. That I should stop calling." He closed his eyes. "I never knew you called." "Would it have mattered?" Maya's voice was soft, sad. "You'd already decided I was a liar. You believed her, your ex, when she told you I was—" She stopped, glancing at Jordan. "When she told you those things about me. Things that weren't true." "I know." The words felt inadequate. "I know that now. I figured it out about a year later, when I heard she'd done the same thing to someone else. Made up stories to break up a relationship because she wanted him back. A year later." Maya's laugh was bitter. "I was pregnant and alone by then, working 2 jobs and trying to finish school." Guilt crashed over him. "Maya, why are you getting married?" she asked suddenly. "Do you love her?" The question caught him off guard. Yes. Brooke and I, we're compatible. We want the same things." "That's not what I asked." He didn't answer. Couldn't. "Mama!" Jordan came running over, the plane still clutched in his hand. "Can we get ice cream? Please?" Maya shook her head. "Not today, honey. We need to go home." "But we always get ice cream after your work." Jordan's lower lip jutted out. "Not today." "Why not?" "Jordan, I'll take you." The words were out before Ethan could stop them. "I mean, if it's okay with your mom. There's a cafe right around the corner. I saw it on the way in." Maya stared at him. "Ethan, you don't have to." "I want to." He looked down at Jordan. "I want to. If that's okay." Jordan's whole face lit up. He looked up at Maya with pleading eyes. "Please, Mama, please." Maya hesitated. Ethan could see the war playing out across her face. Fear, hope, protective instinct, and something else he couldn't quite name. Finally, she nodded. "Okay, just for a little while." Jordan cheered and immediately grabbed Ethan's hand. The small fingers wrapped around his felt like lightning. "Come on, I know the best way to the street." Ethan let himself be pulled forward, completely unprepared for how natural it felt, how right. Maya followed behind them, her phone already buzzing in her hand. She glanced at the screen, and her expression darkened. "Everything okay?" Ethan asked. "It's just—" She showed him the screen. Multiple missed calls from a number he recognized. Brooke's calling me. Of course she was. Brooke would want answers, would want to know what was happening. I'll talk to her, Ethan said. Later. Right now. He looked down at Jordan, who was chattering excitedly about different ice cream flavors. Right now, I just want to spend a few minutes with him. Maya's eyes glistened. Okay. They walked toward the street together. A strange little trio. Jordan kept asking questions. What kind of ice cream did Ethan like? Did he have any pets? Had he ever been on an airplane? Did he know how to build stuff? Ethan answered as best he could, marveling at how easy it was to talk to this child. His child. The word still felt unreal, but with every step, with every squeeze of that small hand in his, it became a little more solid, a little more true. They reached the cafe, a small place with outdoor tables and a cheerful striped awning. Jordan immediately pressed his nose against the glass case, studying the ice cream flavors with intense concentration. You can get 1 scoop, Maya told him. Whichever kind you want. 2 scoops? Jordan asked hopefully. 1 scoop. But Ethan's buying. Maybe he lets me get 2. Maya shot Ethan a warning look. He held up his hands. 1 scoop sounds perfect to me. Jordan sighed dramatically but accepted defeat. Okay. Cookie dough, please. They ordered cookie dough for Jordan, vanilla for Maya, chocolate for Ethan, and found a table outside. The afternoon was warm but not hot, with a light breeze carrying the scent of salt water from the harbor a few blocks away. Jordan attacked his ice cream with enthusiasm, getting it all over his face within seconds. Maya automatically reached over with a napkin, wiping his chin in a gesture so practiced and tender it made Ethan's chest ache. This was her life, had been for 6 years. Raising their son alone while he'd been building his company and planning a wedding and convincing himself he was happy. So, Jordan said around a mouthful of ice cream. Are you famous? Not really, Ethan said. But you were on TV. Just today. Do you have a big house? Jordan, Maya said gently. That's not polite to ask. It's okay, Ethan smiled. I have a pretty big house, yeah. With a pool? With a pool. Jordan's eyes went wide. Mama, can we go swimming there? Maya's face flushed. Honey, we can't just invite ourselves to... You're invited, Ethan said quietly. Anytime. Their eyes met across the table. Maya looked away first. Mr. Walsh probably has a lot of things to do, she told Jordan. He's very busy. Are you too busy to play? Jordan asked Ethan directly. The question was so simple, so honest. It deserved an honest answer. No, Ethan said. I'm not too busy for that. Jordan grinned. Good, because I have a soccer ball at home and Mama says I need to practice, but she's not very good at kicking. I am too good at kicking, Maya protested, but she was smiling. You kick like a penguin. A penguin? Ethan laughed. What does that even mean? Jordan demonstrated by waddling in his chair, and soon all 3 of them were laughing. For a moment it was easy, natural, like they were a real family sharing a regular afternoon. Then Ethan's phone rang. Brooke's name flashed on the screen. The laughter died. I should, Ethan started. Answer it, Maya said quietly. You need to. He stood and walked a few steps away from the table. Hello? Where are you? Brooke's voice was tight with anger. You disappeared. You won't answer my texts. What is going on? I'm having ice cream with Maya and her son. Silence, then. You're what? I needed to talk to her. About things from the past. In the middle of the day? 2 weeks before our wedding? What things could possibly be that important? He glanced back at the table. Jordan was showing Maya something on his napkin, probably drawing something. Maya was nodding and smiling, but her eyes kept darting toward Ethan with worry. Her son, Ethan said slowly. He might be mine. Another silence. Longer this time. What? The timeline. It adds up. He looks like... Brooke, I need to figure this out. Figure what out? If some woman shows up with a kid claiming it's yours, you get a paternity test. You don't go out for ice cream like you're playing house. He's 6 years old. This isn't a scam. You don't know that. I do. His voice was firm. I do know that. How? Because she batted her eyes at you. Because you feel guilty about how things ended. Because I look at him and I see myself, Ethan said quietly. Because I carved a toy airplane 7 years ago and he carries it everywhere. Because... His voice cracked. Because I think I just met my son. He heard Brooke's sharp intake of breath. You need to come home. Right now. We need to talk about this properly. I will. Soon. Now, Ethan. If you stay there, if you walk away from me right now to play dad to some kid you don't even know is yours, then the wedding is off. Do you understand me? His heart pounded. Brooke, I mean it. This is ridiculous. You're being manipulated, and you're too blind to see it. I'm not being manipulated. Then prove it. Come home. We'll hire lawyers, get a test done properly, figure this out like adults. But you don't get to just abandon everything we've built because of some random encounter. He looked back at the table again. Jordan was laughing at something, ice cream on his nose. Maya was wiping it away with another napkin, her smile soft and maternal. This wasn't random. This was his son, his family, the one he'd walked away from without ever knowing it existed. I need time, he said. Time for what? To think, to figure out what this means. What it means, Brooke's voice rose. It means a woman you dated 7 years ago never bothered to tell you she was pregnant. It means she's waited until right before your wedding to pop back into your life with a convenient sob story. Can't you see what she's doing? She didn't plan this. She didn't know I'd be there today. So she says, Brooke, come home, Ethan, or don't bother coming home at all. The line went dead. Ethan stood there, phone in hand, heart racing. He'd known this would be hard, had known Brooke wouldn't understand, but the ultimatum still rattled him. Walk away from Maya and Jordan, or lose the wedding, lose Brooke, lose the life he'd carefully constructed. He turned back to the table. Jordan had finished his ice cream and was playing with the toy airplane again, making soft swooshing sounds as he flew it through the air. Maya was watching Ethan, her expression guarded. He walked back and sat down. Everything okay? Maya asked carefully. No, he rubbed his face. Brooke's not happy. I understand. We should probably... She started gathering up the napkins and cups. We should go. You have things to deal with. Maya, wait. She paused. Can I see him again? Tomorrow, maybe. Or whenever you're free. Ethan, I don't think... Please. He looked at Jordan, who'd stopped playing to listen. I just found out I might have a son. I can't just walk away. Not again. Maya bit her lip. He could see her fighting with herself, weighing risks and possibilities. Finally, she nodded. Okay, tomorrow. There's a park near my apartment. We go there most Saturdays. You could, if you want, you could meet us there. Around 10? I'll be there. Jordan perked up. You're coming to our park? Really? Really? Can you push me on the swings? Mama tries, but her arms get tired. Hey, Maya protested, but she was smiling again. I can definitely push you on the swings, Ethan promised. They walked back toward the parking lot together. As they reached Maya's car, an older sedan with a child's car seat in the back, Jordan suddenly turned and hugged Ethan's leg. Thank you for the ice cream. Ethan crouched down to eye level. You're welcome. Thank you for sharing it with me. Will you really come tomorrow? I promise. Jordan beamed and climbed into his car seat. Maya buckled him in, then straightened and looked at Ethan over the roof of the car. He asks about you sometimes, she said quietly. About his dad. I've always told him you didn't know about him, that you would have been here if you'd known. Was that true? I wanted it to be. Ethan's throat tightened. It was true. It is true. She searched his face for a long moment, then nodded. Tomorrow, 10 o'clock. I'll be there. She got in the car and drove away. Ethan stood in the parking lot, watching until the car disappeared around a corner. Then he pulled out his phone and looked at the missed calls from Brooke. 17 of them. He should call her back, should go home and have the conversation she wanted, should be responsible and rational and handle this like an adult. Instead, he found himself sitting down on the curb, head in his hands, as the magnitude of everything crashed over him. He had a son, a 6-year-old boy who flew a plane Ethan had carved when he was 25 and stupid and in love. And tomorrow he'd see him again, would push him on the swings, would start figuring out what it meant to be a father to a child who'd spent 6 years without him. The wedding seemed very far away. The life he'd been building seemed very far away. All that mattered was the small hand that had held his, the gap-toothed smile, the simple question, will you really come tomorrow? Yes, Ethan whispered to the empty parking lot. I'll really come. And for the first time in 7 years, something that felt like hope cracked open in his chest. Maya's hands shook as she unlocked her apartment door. Jordan was still chattering about the ice cream, about Ethan, about tomorrow at the park. She made appropriate sounds in response, but her mind was spinning. What had she just done? She'd let Ethan back into their lives. After 6 years of building a safe, stable world for Jordan. After 6 years of protecting herself from the man who'd broken her heart so completely, she'd thought it might never heal. Mama, can I watch cartoons? Sure, baby. She turned on the TV and collapsed onto the couch, suddenly exhausted. Jordan settled on the floor with his coloring books, content. Maya watched him, her heart aching. He looked so much like Ethan, the same dark hair that curled at the ends, the same way of tilting his head when he was thinking. Even his laugh, that surprised, delighted sound, was pure Ethan. She'd seen it every day for 6 years and survived by telling herself Ethan was gone, that he'd made his choice, that they were better off without someone who could believe lies so easily. But the look on his face today, the shock, the pain, the genuine confusion when he'd asked if she'd tried to contact him, he really hadn't known she'd called. Her phone buzzed. She looked at the screen and her stomach dropped. Marcus. Her older brother had a sixth sense for when something was wrong. "Hey," she answered. "Don't hey me, what happened?" Marcus's voice was gentle but firm. "You left 3 voicemails that just said, 'Call me,' and nothing else. Are you okay? Is Jordan okay?" "We're fine, it's just—" She glanced at Jordan, still absorbed in his coloring. "Can you come over?" Silence. Then, "I'm already in the car." "Marcus, you don't have to—" 20 minutes. He hung up. Maya set down her phone and dropped her head into her hands. This was all moving too fast. This morning she'd woken up as a single mother with a simple life. Now Ethan Walsh, millionaire, almost married, completely off limits Ethan Walsh, knew he had a son, and she'd agreed to see him again tomorrow. What was she thinking? Marcus arrived in 15 minutes instead of 20. He let himself in with his spare key, took one look at Maya's face, and immediately went to the kitchen. "Where's the tea?" he called. "Cabinet above the coffee maker." She heard him rummaging around, filling the kettle. Jordan looked up from his coloring. "Uncle Marcus." "Hey, little man. You being good for your mama." "Always." "That's my guy." Marcus came back out with 2 mugs of tea and handed one to Maya. He settled into the armchair across from her, his expression patient but worried. "Talk." Maya wrapped her hands around the warm mug. "You remember Ethan Walsh?" Marcus's jaw tightened. "The guy who broke your heart when you were pregnant?" "Yeah, I remember. He's back. Sort of. Sort of." She explained the whole story, the last-minute interview assignment, the shock of seeing Ethan after 7 years, Jordan's innocent questions, the ice cream, all of it. Marcus listened without interrupting. When she finished, he was quiet for a long moment. "So he didn't know," he finally said. "No. Brooke, his new fiancée. She must have intercepted my call and never told him. And now he wants to be involved. He says he does. Do you believe him?" Maya looked at Jordan, who was now flying his toy airplane around the living room, making engine noises. "I don't know. I want to. But Marcus, he's getting married in 2 weeks. He has this whole life that doesn't include us. What happens when the reality sets in? When being a dad isn't just ice cream and parks?" "That's a fair question." Marcus took a sip of tea. "But it's also fair to give him a chance to answer it." Maya's head snapped up. "What? I'm not saying trust him blindly. I'm not saying let him hurt Jordan or you. But Maya, if he really didn't know, then he deserves a chance to step up. He left me, Marcus. He believed the worst about me without even asking for my side. I know, and that's on him. But people can change." Marcus leaned forward. "You've changed. You're not the scared 21-year-old who cried on my couch for 3 months straight. You're stronger now. You've built a good life for Jordan. You can handle this however it needs to be handled." Maya felt tears prick her eyes. What if he breaks Jordan's heart? Then I'll break his face. Marcus said it so matter-of-factly that Maya almost laughed. "But seriously, we don't know what's going to happen. All we can do is take it one day at a time, see if he shows up tomorrow, see if he keeps showing up. And if he does, then Jordan gets to know his dad, and maybe—" Marcus paused. "Maybe you get a second chance at something too." "I don't want that." The words came out too quickly. Marcus raised an eyebrow. "You sure about that?" "He's engaged, Marcus. For now." I'm not going to be the reason someone's wedding falls apart. From what you told me, it sounds like that wedding was already on shaky ground." Marcus set down his mug. "Look, I'm not saying throw yourself at the guy. I'm just saying keep an open mind. See what happens. And remember that whatever you decide, I've got your back. Always." Maya reached over and squeezed his hand. "Thank you. That's what big brothers are for." He glanced at Jordan. "So, tomorrow at the park, you want me there? Would you?" "Obviously. I need to make sure this guy knows what he's dealing with if he even thinks about hurting my nephew." Maya smiled despite everything. "You're going to intimidate him on purpose, aren't it you?" "Absolutely." That night after Jordan was asleep, Maya found herself digging through the closet in her bedroom. Way in the back, buried under winter coats and old textbooks, was a cardboard box. She pulled it out and opened it carefully. Inside were photos, dozens of them. Her and Ethan at 21 and 25, young and in love and convinced they had forever. There was Ethan on graduation day, wearing her cap and making a ridiculous face. Maya in his apartment, paint splattered from helping him refinish furniture. The two of them at a concert, his arm around her waist, both of them laughing at something long forgotten, and tucked in the corner, the photo Jordan had mentioned. Ethan holding up the toy airplane he'd just finished carving, grinning like he'd won a prize. Maya traced the image with her finger. He'd been so proud of that silly plane. Had spent hours on it when he should have been studying for finals, just because Maya mentioned she'd always wanted to learn to fly. "You're going to be a pilot someday," he'd told her, "and I'll be able to say I made your first plane." She'd kissed him then, soft and sweet, and whispered, "I love you." He'd said it back without hesitation. 3 months later, everything had fallen apart. Maya closed the box and shoved it back into the closet. Looking at old photos wouldn't help anything. What mattered now was protecting Jordan, making sure that if Ethan was going to be part of their lives, he was committed, real, not just caught up in the emotion of a shocking discovery. She checked on Jordan one more time before bed. He was sprawled across his mattress, the toy airplane clutched in one hand even in sleep. "Please don't let him hurt you," Maya whispered. "Please let this be real." But she wasn't sure if she was talking about Jordan or herself. Ethan didn't go home. He couldn't face Brooke yet, couldn't face the questions and accusations and the perfectly reasonable demand that he get a paternity test before upending his entire life. Instead, he drove to his office. The building was mostly empty on a Friday evening. Just a few workaholics still hunched over their computers. He unlocked his door and collapsed into his chair, staring at nothing. Jordan was his son. The truth of it was absolute, undeniable. He'd known it the moment he saw the boy's face. Everything else, the DNA test Brooke would insist on, the legal arrangements, the logistics, all of that was just formality. Jordan was his son, and he'd missed 6 years. First steps, first words, birthdays, Christmases, scraped knees and bedtime stories, and all the tiny, irreplaceable moments that made up a childhood. Gone. His phone buzzed. Another text from Brooke. "We need to talk. Now." He should respond, should explain, should do something other than sit here in the dark, drowning in regret. Instead, he opened his laptop and searched for Maya's name. He found her quickly, social media profiles set to mostly private, but her professional page was public. She worked as a freelance journalist and TV host, apparently, had a degree in communications, wrote pieces about community issues, local politics, small human interest stories. She'd finished school, had built a career, all while raising Jordan alone. He kept scrolling and found a photo from 2 years ago, Maya and Jordan at a park, both laughing, Jordan's gap-toothed smile bright in the sunshine. The caption read, "Best day ever with my best guy." No mention of a father, no other adults in the photos he could see, just Maya and Jordan against the world. Ethan closed the laptop and pressed his palms against his eyes. "What have I done?" he whispered to the empty office. His phone rang. Brooke again. This time he answered. "Where are you?" she demanded immediately. "My office." "Your office, Ethan, what is going on?" "I needed space to think." "Think about what?" "About whether you're going to throw away everything we have because some woman—" "Don't." His voice came out sharper than intended. "Don't talk about her like that." Silence. Then, "You're defending her." "I'm defending the mother of my child." "You don't know that he's yours." "Yes, I do." "A DNA test." "Will confirm what I already know," Ethan interrupted. "Brooke, I saw him. He looks exactly like me. He carries around a toy I made 7 years ago. The timing is perfect. He's mine." "So what does that mean?" Brooke's voice cracked slightly. "What does that mean for us, for the wedding?" Ethan rubbed his face. "I don't know." "You don't know?" "Ethan, we're supposed to get married in 2 weeks. We've sent invitations, booked venues. My dress is ready." "And you don't know?" "I just found out I have a 6-year-old son. I need time to process that." "How much time?" "I don't know that either." He heard her breathing, fast and shallow. When she spoke again, her voice was cold. "I told you what would happen if you didn't come home today, if you chose them over me. I'm not choosing anyone over anyone. I'm trying to figure out how to be a father to a child I didn't know existed. And what about being a husband to me?" The question hung in the air. Ethan stared at the photo of Brooke on his desk, a professional headshot, perfectly styled, her smile confident and controlled. When had he last made her laugh the way Maya used to laugh? When had they last talked about anything deeper than guest lists and investment portfolios? "I love you," he said, but even to his own ears it sounded uncertain. "Do you?" Brooke asked quietly. Or do you love the idea of me, the life we represent? That's not fair. Isn't it? Be honest, Ethan. Are you in love with me, or are you in love with having everything look perfect? He didn't answer. Couldn't. That's what I thought. He heard her breath hitch. I'm going to stay at my parents' house for a few days. You need to figure out what you want, and then you need to decide if you're going to marry me or not. Brooke, I mean it. I'm not going to wait around while you play house with your ex-girlfriend. Either you commit to our life together, or we're done, completely. Can't we just... No, we can't just anything. This is simple, Ethan. Choose. The line went dead. Ethan set down his phone and dropped his head into his hands. Everything was spinning out of control. His perfect, ordered life was coming apart at the seams, and he couldn't seem to stop it. Didn't want to stop it. Because for the first time in 7 years, something felt real again. Saturday morning arrived too quickly. Ethan barely slept, tossing and turning in his too large house that suddenly felt like a mausoleum. At 8 a.m., he gave up and got in the shower. What did you wear to meet your son for the second time? He settled on jeans and a simple t-shirt. Casual, approachable, not trying too hard. He left the house at 9:30, even though the park was only 15 minutes away. Better to be early than risk being late. The park was small but well maintained. Playground equipment, walking paths, lots of trees providing shade. A few other families were already there, kids running and playing while parents watched from benches. Ethan checked his phone. 9:45. At 9:53 he saw them. Maya and Jordan walking down the path, Jordan skipping ahead with a soccer ball under his arm. And walking beside Maya was a tall, broad-shouldered man who looked like he could break Ethan in half without breaking a sweat. Marcus. Had to be. Ethan stood up from the bench and walked toward them, his heart pounding. Jordan spotted him first. Ethan! You came. The boy ran toward him, and Ethan crouched down just in time for Jordan to crash into him with a hug. Of course I came, Ethan said, his voice rough. I promised, didn't I? Mama said sometimes grown-ups make promises they don't keep. Well, I keep my promises. Jordan pulled back and studied him seriously. Good, because I brought my soccer ball and we need to practice. Maya reached them, slightly breathless. Jordan, honey, let Ethan say hello first. It's okay. Ethan straightened and met her eyes. She looked nervous, worried, but also determined. Hi, hi. The man beside her cleared his throat pointedly. Right. Maya gestured. Ethan, this is my brother Marcus. Marcus, this is Ethan Walsh. Marcus extended his hand. Ethan shook it and tried not to wince at the grip. Nice to meet you, Marcus said. His tone suggested it was anything but nice. You too. They stood there awkwardly for a moment. Jordan, oblivious to the tension, was already running toward an open area of grass. Come on, he called back. We have to practice before it gets too hot. Maya looked at Ethan. You don't have to. I want to. He meant it. They followed Jordan to the grass. Marcus positioned himself on a bench with a clear view of everything, arms crossed, expression unreadable. Jordan dropped the soccer ball and kicked it toward Ethan. Try to get it past me. For the next hour, Ethan played soccer with his son. It was clumsy and chaotic. Neither of them were particularly skilled, but Jordan's laughter made it perfect. Maya sat on the grass nearby, watching, occasionally offering encouragement or gentle corrections. When Jordan finally declared he needed water, they migrated to the benches. Marcus handed Jordan a juice box from a small cooler, and Jordan immediately started telling Ethan about his school, his friends, his favorite TV shows. Ethan listened to every word, filing away details. Jordan liked dinosaurs and space. He wanted to be an astronaut when he grew up. He was learning to read chapter books. He had a best friend named Tyler, who had a tree house. Do you have a tree house? Jordan asked. No, but I have a big backyard. Could you build a tree house? Jordan, Maya interjected gently. That's not... I could, Ethan said. If your mom says it's okay, I could definitely build one. Jordan's eyes went wide. Really? Really? Mama, can he? Can Ethan build me a tree house? Maya shot Ethan a look that clearly said, why would you offer that? But she smiled at Jordan. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see means maybe yes, Jordan informed Ethan confidently. I'll remember that. Marcus stood up. Jordan, buddy, why don't you show me how high you can swing? Let your mama talk to Ethan for a minute. But I'm talking to Ethan, and you'll talk to him more in a few minutes. Come on. Marcus held out his hand, and Jordan, after a moment's hesitation, took it. They walked toward the swings, leaving Maya and Ethan alone. Maya watched them go, then turned to Ethan. A tree house? I got carried away. I'm sorry. You can't just... She stopped, took a breath. You can't make promises like that. He'll remember. He'll expect it. Then I'll do it. Ethan, you don't understand. You can't just drop into his life, be fun dad for a few days, and then disappear when things get complicated. I'm not going to disappear. You say that now, but what about when the wedding happens? What about when your real life takes over? Maya. He shifted on the bench to face her fully. I'm not getting married. She blinked. What? Brooke and I, we're done. Or we will be soon. I haven't officially ended it yet, but... He ran a hand through his hair. She gave me an ultimatum. Choose her and the wedding, or choose to be here with Jordan. She didn't mean it as a real choice. She thought I'd choose her. And you didn't. No. He met her eyes. I didn't. Maya looked away, her expression conflicted. You're making a huge decision very quickly. Am I? Or did I make this decision 7 years ago when I walked away from you? His voice softened. I've spent 7 years building a life that looks successful on the outside, but it's been empty, Maya. And I didn't even realize it until yesterday when I saw Jordan's face. That's the shock talking, the emotion. When it wears off, it won't wear off. He's my son. You don't know that for certain. Yes, I do. But if you need proof, we can do a DNA test. We should do one anyway for legal reasons. Child support, custody arrangements, all of that. Maya's jaw tightened. I don't want your money. I know, but he's entitled to it. And I want to contribute. I want to be involved, Maya, really involved. Not just weekend visits and birthday checks. What does that even mean? I don't know yet. I'm making this up as I go. He leaned forward, desperate for her to understand. All I know is that I missed 6 years. I'm not missing anymore. Whatever it takes, whatever I have to change or sacrifice or figure out, I'm doing it. Maya searched his face for a long time. Finally, she nodded slowly. Okay, but we do this my way, slowly, carefully. Jordan's heart is on the line here. I know. And mine is too. The admission was quiet, vulnerable. It made Ethan's chest tighten. I won't hurt either of you, he promised. Not again. I want to believe that. Her voice cracked slightly. I really do. Before he could respond, Jordan came running back over, breathless and excited. Ethan, Uncle Marcus says you used to play basketball in college. Is that true? Ethan glanced at Marcus, who shrugged innocently. Yeah, that's true. Can you teach me? I thought you wanted to play soccer. I want to play everything, Ethan laughed. Okay, we'll play everything. Jordan cheered and grabbed his hand. Come on, the basketball court is over there. As Jordan pulled him toward the courts, Ethan looked back at Maya. She was watching them with an expression he couldn't quite read. Hope mixed with fear, affection mixed with pain. He wanted to fix that look, wanted to prove he could be trusted, wanted to build something real with her and Jordan, something that would last. But he knew it wouldn't be easy, knew he'd have to earn it. So he let Jordan lead him to the basketball court, and he played. And when Jordan laughed, that bright, unfiltered sound of pure joy, Ethan felt something click into place inside him. This was what mattered. This was real. Everything else could wait. They spent the whole morning at the park. Basketball, then back to soccer. Then Jordan wanted to try the monkey bars. Ethan lifted him up, spotted him, caught him when he slipped. Every moment felt precious, important, like he was trying to make up for 6 years in a single morning. Marcus eventually wandered over and stood next to Ethan, while Jordan attempted the monkey bars again. He's a good kid, Marcus said. He is. Maya did that. Raised him right, all by herself. I know. You hurt her pretty bad back then. Ethan nodded, not looking away from Jordan. I did. You planning to hurt her again? No, because if you do, I'll make sure you regret it. Ethan finally turned to face him. Marcus wasn't smiling, but his expression wasn't entirely hostile either. I believe you, Ethan said, and I don't blame you for threatening me. If I had a sister, I'd do the same thing. Marcus studied him for a moment. The wedding. You really calling it off? Yes. That's a big move. Expensive, public, embarrassing. I don't care. Why? Ethan looked back at Jordan, who'd successfully crossed 3 rungs and was beaming with pride. Because I'd rather be embarrassed than live a lie. Because I already lost 6 years with him, and I'm not losing any more. Because, he paused, because when I look at him, I feel like I'm finally doing something that matters. Marcus was quiet for a beat. Then he clapped Ethan on the shoulder. All right, you get one chance. Don't waste it. I won't. Jordan dropped from the monkey bars and ran over. Did you see I did 4 this time? I saw, that was amazing. I'm hungry. Can we get lunch? Maya stood up from the bench where she'd been reading. We should probably head home. Ethan probably has things to do. No, Ethan said it too quickly. I mean, if you're hungry, we could get lunch together, if that's okay. Jordan looked at Maya with pleading eyes. Please? Maya hesitated. Ethan could see her weighing it, protecting her boundaries versus letting Jordan have this time with his father. Okay, she said finally, but somewhere simple. There's a diner 2 blocks from here, Marcus offered. Good burgers. Perfect. They walked to the diner together, Jordan between Ethan and Maya, holding both their hands. Ethan's heart swelled at the simple gesture. The diner was busy, but they found a booth. Jordan insisted on sitting next to Ethan, which made Ethan unreasonably happy. Over burgers and fries, Jordan continued his stream of questions. What was Ethan's favorite color? Did he like dogs or cats better? Had he ever been to Disney World? Did he know how to swim? Ethan answered everything patiently, storing away Jordan's responses too. Blue. Dogs. Definitely dogs. Yes, when he was 10. Yes, very well. Maya watched them, her expression softening gradually. Marcus ate his burger and said little, but his protective stance had relaxed somewhat. When the check came, there was a brief argument about who would pay. Ethan won by sheer stubbornness. Outside the diner, Jordan yawned hugely. Someone needs a nap, Maya said. I'm not tired, Jordan protested, even as he yawned again. Sure you're not. She ruffled his hair affectionately. Come on, buddy. Let's get you home. Jordan looked up at Ethan. Will you come tomorrow too? Ethan glanced at Maya. She nodded almost imperceptibly. If your mom says it's okay, I'd love to. She says it's okay, right, Mama? Maya smiled. Right. But tomorrow is Sunday. We usually have a quiet day at home. You could have a quiet day with us, Jordan said to Ethan. Jordan, Ethan might have other plans. I don't, Ethan interrupted. I don't have any plans. Maya bit her lip. Okay, you can come over in the afternoon, but just for a couple hours, and we're not doing anything special, just hanging out. That sounds perfect. They exchanged phone numbers. Somehow they'd gone through all of yesterday without doing that. Then Marcus led Jordan toward where they'd parked, giving Maya and Ethan a moment alone. Thank you, Ethan said, for today, for giving me this chance. Don't thank me yet. We're still figuring this out. I know. But Maya, he stepped closer. I meant what I said earlier. I'm all in. Whatever it takes. She looked up at him, and for a moment he saw the girl he'd loved 7 years ago, before the hurt, before the years apart. Just don't break his heart, she whispered. Please. I won't. I promise. She nodded and turned to follow Marcus and Jordan. Ethan watched them go, then pulled out his phone. He had texts from Brooke, voicemails from his assistant, emails from wedding vendors. He ignored all of them and typed a single message to Brooke. We need to talk. I'm sorry, but I can't do this. The wedding's off. He hit send before he could second-guess himself. Then he got in his car and drove home to start dismantling the life he'd built, brick by careful brick, to make room for something real. Sunday afternoon, Ethan stood outside Maya's apartment building with a bag of groceries in one hand and a children's book in the other. He'd spent an hour at the bookstore that morning, reading picture books about space and dinosaurs, until he found one that seemed perfect. He checked the apartment number Maya had texted him and climbed the stairs to the 3rd floor. The building was older, but well-maintained, with plants on some of the windowsills and the faint smell of someone cooking something delicious. He knocked on apartment 3C, Jordan answered, throwing the door open with enthusiasm. You came. Mama, he came. I can see that. Maya appeared behind Jordan, wiping her hands on a dish towel. She wore jeans and an oversized sweater, her hair loose around her shoulders. Come in. The apartment was small but cozy. A living room with a worn couch and mismatched chairs, toys organized in colorful bins, drawings taped to the walls. Through an open door, he could see a tiny kitchen where something was simmering on the stove. I brought some things. Ethan held up the bag. Ingredients for pasta. I wasn't sure if you'd eaten yet. We haven't. Maya looked surprised. You cook? I learned. Living alone, you either learn to cook or eat takeout every night. I like pasta, Jordan announced. Can I help? If your mom says it's okay. Maya smiled. Sure. But first, let Ethan sit down. He just got here. Actually, I'd like to start cooking if that's all right. I find it relaxing. It was true, and also it gave him something to do with his hands, which were nervous. Maya led him to the kitchen. It was cramped but functional, barely enough room for 2 people to move around comfortably. Ethan unpacked the bag, Fresh tomatoes, basil, garlic, good olive oil, pasta. You went to the farmer's market, Maya observed. Is it that obvious? These are from Giuseppe's stand. I'd recognize his tomatoes anywhere. You shop there? When I can afford it. She said it matter-of-factly without self-pity. Ethan's chest tightened. While he'd been building his empire, Maya had been budgeting for farmer's market tomatoes. Jordan climbed onto a stool at the tiny counter. What can I do? You can be my official taste tester, Ethan said. Very important job. Jordan sat up straighter. I'm good at tasting. I bet you are. They fell into an easy rhythm. Ethan chopped garlic while Maya pulled out a pot for the pasta. Jordan chatted constantly, asking questions about everything. Why did they have to chop the garlic so small? Where did pasta come from? Did Ethan know how to make pizza too? The kitchen filled with the smell of garlic and tomatoes. Maya found a bottle of wine in the back of her cabinet, left over from Marcus's birthday, and poured 2 glasses. To new beginnings, she said, raising her glass. To new beginnings. Ethan clinked his glass against hers. Their eyes met and held for a moment. Then Jordan demanded attention again, and the moment passed. Dinner was simple but good. They ate at the small table in the living room, Jordan continuing his endless stream of conversation. He told Ethan about his week at school, about the book they were reading in class, about the art project he was working on. We have to draw our families, Jordan explained. I drew me and Mama and Uncle Marcus. Can I see it? Ethan asked. Jordan jumped up and retrieved a piece of paper from his backpack. The drawing was typical 6-year-old art, stick figures with oversized heads and bright colors everywhere. Maya was in the middle, tall and smiling. Jordan stood next to her, holding her hand. Marcus loomed on the other side, protective, and in the corner, barely there, was another figure, smaller, fainter, like an afterthought or a wish. Who's that? Ethan pointed to it. Jordan's expression became serious. That's my dad. I don't know what he looks like, so I just drew him small. Like he's far away. Ethan couldn't speak. Maya's eyes filled with tears. Jordan looked between them, confused. Did I do something wrong? No, baby. Maya's voice was thick. You didn't do anything wrong. Your drawing is perfect, Ethan managed. Really perfect. Jordan brightened. Do you want to help me with my homework after dinner? We have to practice reading. I would love that. After the dishes were cleared, Jordan insisted on helping, carefully carrying plates to the sink. They settled on the couch. Jordan squeezed between Ethan and Maya, a beginning reader book open on his lap. He read slowly, sounding out words, occasionally asking for help. Ethan found himself completely absorbed, marveling at how smart his son was, how determined to get every word right. When Jordan stumbled over especially, Ethan helped him break it down into parts. Especially. Say 4 pieces. Especially, Jordan repeated. That's a big word. You'll know lots of big words soon. Will you teach me more? Anytime you want. Jordan finished the book and closed it with satisfaction. I did good, right? You did great, Maya said, kissing the top of his head. Ethan, do you want to see my room? Maya started to protest. Honey, your room's a mess. But Ethan was already standing. I'd love to see your room. Jordan's room was small, but clearly his kingdom. Toys everywhere, drawings covering the walls, a bed shaped like a race car, and an entire shelf dedicated to books and stuffed animals. This is my favorite dinosaur. Jordan held up a plastic T-Rex. His name is Rexy. Very creative, I know. Ethan laughed. I think Rexy is a perfect name. And this is my spaceship. Jordan pointed to a model hanging from the ceiling. Uncle Marcus helped me build it. Ethan looked at all of it, the evidence of a childhood he'd missed, and felt the weight of it settle on his shoulders. You have a great room, he said quietly. It's kind of small. Mama says maybe when I'm bigger we'll get a bigger place. Jordan climbed onto his bed. Do you have a big house? Yeah, pretty big. With lots of rooms. More than I need, honestly. Jordan was quiet for a moment, playing with Rexy. Then he asked, Are you my dad? Ethan's heart stopped. He glanced at the doorway. Maya was standing there, having followed them. Her face was pale. He sat down on the edge of Jordan's bed. Why do you ask that? Because you look like me. And Mama gets sad when she looks at you sometimes. And yesterday at the park I heard Uncle Marcus call you my father when he thought I wasn't listening. Smart kid. Too smart for his own good, maybe. Ethan looked at Maya. She gave him a tiny nod. He turned back to Jordan. Yes, I'm your dad. Jordan's expression didn't change much. He just nodded, like Ethan had confirmed something he'd already known. Okay. Yeah, I figured. Jordan tilted his head. Why weren't you here before? Because I didn't know about you. If I had known, I would have been here, I promise. But you're here now. Yes, and I'm not going anywhere. Jordan thought about this. Does that mean you'll come to my school play? It's in 2 weeks. I'm a tree. Ethan's throat tightened. I'll definitely come to your school play. And my soccer games? Every single one. And will you read to me at night sometimes? Whenever you want. Jordan smiled, that gap-toothed smile that was already becoming Ethan's favorite thing in the world. Good, because Mama's really tired sometimes and she falls asleep in the middle of the story. Hey, Maya protested from the doorway. That happened 1 time. 3 times, Jordan corrected. Okay, 3 times. But in my defense, you wanted to read the same dinosaur book over and over. Jordan giggled and launched himself at Ethan in a hug. I'm glad you're my dad. Ethan wrapped his arms around his son, his eyes burning. I'm glad too. So glad, Jordan. When Jordan finally pulled back, he yawned hugely. I'm sleepy now. Then let's get you ready for bed, Maya said. Say goodnight to Ethan. Will you be here tomorrow? Ethan looked at Maya. She nodded. Not tomorrow. I have some work things to handle. But how about Tuesday after school? We could go to the park again. Okay, but don't forget. I won't forget. I promise. Maya ushered Jordan toward the bathroom for teeth brushing. Ethan stood in the tiny room, surrounded by evidence of the life he'd missed, and felt something shift inside him. This was real. This was his family. He walked back to the living room and sat on the couch, suddenly exhausted. The emotional weight of the past 2 days was catching up with him. Maya returned 15 minutes later. He's out like a light. Usually takes longer, but I think he wore himself out being excited all day. Maya, Ethan started. You handled that really well, the dad question. I was worried he'd ask, but I didn't expect it to happen so soon. He's smart. Of course he figured it out. He is. She sat down on the other end of the couch, maintaining distance. He's the best thing in my life. I can see why. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Maya asked, Did you really call off the wedding? Yes. Officially ended it this morning. Brooke and I had a long conversation. He rubbed his face. She was hurt, angry, said I was throwing away everything we built. Were you? No. I was finally admitting that what we built wasn't real. It was pretty. It looked good, but it wasn't real. What's real then? He looked at her. This. You and Jordan. Cooking dinner in a tiny kitchen and reading homework books and hearing about school plays. That's real. Maya's eyes shimmered. Don't say things like that. Why not? Because I want to believe you, and I'm scared to. Because 7 years ago you said you loved me, and then you walked away without even listening to my side because... Her voice broke. Because I can't go through that again, and neither can Jordan. I know. Ethan shifted closer, not touching but near enough that she could feel his presence. I know I hurt you. I know I was a coward who believed lies because it was easier than facing the truth. I know I made the worst mistake of my life when I left you. Then why did you? Because I was 25 and stupid and scared. Because someone told me you cheated on me, and I wanted it not to be true so badly that I convinced myself it was. Because I'd watched my parents' marriage fall apart, and I was terrified of being vulnerable. He took a shaky breath. None of those are good reasons, but they're the truth. Maya wiped her eyes. I never cheated on you. Not once. Not even close. I know that now. I figured it out about a year later when I heard Sarah, my ex, had pulled the same stunt with another guy. Completely fabricated a story to break them up because she wanted him back. And when you figured it out, you didn't think to come find me. I tried, you'd moved, your number was disconnected and... He paused. And I told myself you were better off without me, that I'd caused enough damage. You should have tried harder. You're right, I should have. He looked directly at her. I was a coward then. I'm trying not to be one now. Maya studied him for a long moment. What do you want, Ethan? Really? Honestly? I want to be Jordan's dad. Really be his dad. Not just someone who shows up for weekends and sends child support checks. I want to be there for school plays and soccer games and homework and all of it. And what about me? The question hung between them. I don't know, Ethan said carefully. I know I don't deserve a second chance with you. I know you have every right to never trust me again. But Maya, I also know that when I'm with you and Jordan, I feel like I'm finally where I'm supposed to be. She looked away. This is too fast, too much. I know. We need to focus on you and Jordan. Building that relationship, that's what matters. You're right. We can't... She gestured between them. This can't be about us. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Okay. It hurt, but he understood. Whatever you need, whatever's best for Jordan. Maya nodded, but she didn't look entirely convinced. "You should probably go. It's late and I have to work tomorrow." Ethan stood. "Can I come on Tuesday after school like I said?" "Yes, he'd be devastated if you didn't." "What time does school end?" 3. "But I usually pick him up at 3:30 because I work until 3. What if I picked him up? We could go to the park, and then I'd bring him home to you." Maya hesitated. "Ethan, I don't know if... I understand if you're not comfortable with that yet, but I'd like to spend more time with him. Real time, not just supervised visits." "You're not exactly supervised now. You know what I mean." She bit her lip, thinking. "Okay, but you text me when you get him and when you're on your way back, and you have him home by 5:30. "Done. Thank you." She walked him to the door. As he stepped into the hallway, she called his name softly. "Yeah? You're really not getting married?" "I'm really not." "Does that mean—" She stopped herself. "Never mind." "Does it mean what?" "Nothing. It's not important." But her eyes said it was very important. Ethan wanted to push, to ask what she'd been about to say, but he'd promised to go slow, to focus on Jordan. So he just said goodnight and walked down the stairs, already counting the hours until Tuesday. Monday was chaos. Ethan spent the day handling the fallout from the cancelled wedding, angry emails from vendors about lost deposits, concerned calls from friends asking if he was okay, a long, painful conversation with Brooke's father, who was surprisingly understanding. "She deserves someone who's all in," Mr. Alden said. "If that's not you, better to know now." By evening, Ethan was exhausted. He ordered takeout and sat in his too large house staring at his phone. He'd texted Maya earlier to confirm Tuesday plans. She'd responded with simple logistics: Jordan's school address, the pickup procedure, dietary restrictions. None, but he hated mushrooms. Professional, distant. Like he was a babysitter, not the boy's father. He couldn't blame her. His phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. "This is Marcus. We need to talk. Coffee tomorrow morning? 8 a.m.? Ethan stared at the message. This couldn't be good. "Sure. Where?" Marcus sent the address of a cafe downtown. Ethan confirmed, and spent the rest of the evening trying not to worry about what Maya's brother wanted to discuss. Marcus was already there when Ethan arrived, sitting at a corner table with 2 coffees already ordered. "Black, no sugar," Marcus said, pushing 1 cup toward Ethan. "That's still how you take it, right? You remember that?" "Maya mentioned it 7 years ago." Marcus took a sip of his own coffee. "She mentioned a lot of things about you back then, before you broke her." Ethan sat down. "I assume this isn't a friendly social call." "No. This is the I'm her big brother, and I need to make sure you understand the stakes call." "I understand them. Do you?" Marcus leaned forward. "Because from where I'm sitting, you've known about Jordan for 3 days. 3 days, and you've already called off your wedding, declared yourself a dedicated father, and started spending significant time with a kid you can't legally prove is yours. The DNA test is scheduled for Wednesday. That's not my point. My point is, you're moving fast. Real fast. And when you moved fast 7 years ago, you also moved away, just as quickly." Ethan's jaw tightened. "This is different. Is it? Or are you caught up in the emotion of discovering you have a son? The novelty of it? The romance of getting a second chance with your college girlfriend? It's not about romance, isn't it?" Marcus's eyes were sharp. "Because I've seen the way you look at her, and I've seen the way she looks at you when she thinks no one's watching. And I'm worried that you're going to get tangled up in your feelings for Maya and forget that there's a 6-year-old kid whose whole world is about to change." "I would never, not on purpose. But emotions make people stupid, Ethan. They make us make promises we can't keep and decisions we can't sustain." Ethan took a breath, forcing himself to stay calm. "You're right to be worried. You're right to protect them. If I were you, I'd be saying the same things. But Marcus, I'm not going anywhere. This isn't emotion. This isn't novelty. This is my son. A son you didn't want to know about 3 days ago. A son I didn't know existed 3 days ago." Ethan's voice rose slightly. "Do you think I wanted to miss 6 years? Do you think I'm happy I wasn't there for his first steps or his first words or any of it? No. But I also don't think you understand what you're signing up for." Marcus's expression softened slightly. "Being a parent isn't ice cream and park visits. It's tantrums and sleepless nights and endless worry. It's putting someone else first every single day, even when you're exhausted and frustrated and just want 5 minutes to yourself." "I know that." "Do you? Because you've never done it. You've never been there at 2 a.m. when he's throwing up. Never had to choose between paying for his school supplies or getting your own car fixed. Never had to watch him cry because other kids have dads who show up to things and he doesn't." Each word hit like a punch. You're right, I haven't done any of that, but I want to. I want to be there for all of it, the hard stuff and the easy stuff. Marcus studied him. Maya raised him alone, worked 2 jobs while finishing school, skipped meals so he could eat, cried herself to sleep more times than I can count because she was so tired and scared and alone. Ethan's chest ached. I didn't know. I know you didn't. But that's my point. You weren't there. And now you want to walk in and be super dad and make everything okay. But it doesn't work like that. Then tell me how it works. Ethan leaned forward. Tell me what I need to do to earn the right to be his father, because I'll do it, whatever it takes. Marcus was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke again, his voice was gentler. You show up, not just when it's fun, not just when you feel like it. You show up when he's sick and when he's cranky, and when you have a million other things you'd rather do. You show up consistently, reliably, for years. That's how you earn it. Okay, then that's what I'll do. And Maya? What about her? Don't hurt her again. Don't use Jordan as an excuse to get close to her and then bail when things get complicated. If you can't separate being his dad from wanting to be her partner, you need to figure that out now. I care about both of them. That's not an answer. Ethan ran his hands through his hair. I don't know what you want me to say. Yes, I have feelings for Maya. I never stopped having feelings for Maya. But my priority is Jordan, being his father, building a relationship with him. Everything else is secondary. Make sure it stays that way. Marcus finished his coffee. Because if you mess this up, if you hurt that kid or break my sister's heart again, I won't be nearly as nice as I'm being right now. Understood? Marcus stood. Good. Now get out of here. You have a kid to pick up from school tomorrow, and you should probably figure out what 6-year-olds actually like to do at parks. Despite everything, Ethan smiled. Any suggestions? Pushing him on the swings always works, and he loves it when you pretend to be a dinosaur chasing him. Makes him laugh every time. Thanks. Marcus paused at the door. For what it's worth? I think you mean well. I think you're genuine. But meaning well isn't enough. You have to follow through. I will. Marcus nodded and left. Ethan sat there for a few more minutes, finishing his coffee, thinking about everything Marcus had said. He was right, about all of it. Ethan had no idea what he was doing, had no experience being a father, was running on emotion and instinct and desperate hope, but he meant what he'd told Marcus. He would show up, every day, no matter what. Jordan deserved that much. Maya deserved that much. And maybe, if he did it right, he could earn a place in their lives. Not as an outsider trying to force his way in, but as someone who belonged there, someone who'd finally come home. Tuesday afternoon, Ethan arrived at Jordan's school 15 minutes early. He sat in his car watching the building, his stomach a knot of nerves. What if Jordan changed his mind? What if seeing Ethan at school in his regular world made everything feel too real? At 3:30, the doors opened and children poured out. Ethan spotted Jordan immediately. The dark, curly hair, the backpack almost as big as he was, the way he bounced on his toes while scanning the pickup area. When Jordan saw him, his whole face lit up. Ethan! He ran over, nearly tripping over his backpack. You really came? Of course I came. Ethan crouched down. I promised, didn't I? Tyler didn't believe me when I said my dad was picking me up today. Jordan pointed to a boy standing nearby. But here you are. My dad. The words made Ethan's throat tight. Here I am. He stood and took Jordan's backpack. Ready to go to the park? Yes. Can we get the soccer ball from your car? I have something better. Ethan led him to the car and popped the trunk. Inside was a brand new soccer ball, a kite, and a frisbee. I thought we could try all of them. Jordan's eyes went wide. All of these are for me? All of them. Whoa. Jordan carefully touched the soccer ball. This is the nice kind. The one I wanted but Mama said was too expensive. Ethan's heart clenched. Well, now you have it. They drove to the park, Jordan chattering the entire way about his day. He'd gotten a gold star in reading. His friend Tyler had shared his cookies at lunch. They were learning about the solar system in science, and Jordan was going to do his project on Mars. Because Mars is red, and red is my favorite color, Jordan explained, and also because maybe there are aliens there. Do you think there are aliens? Maybe. Uncle Marcus says anything's possible if you believe in science. Ethan smiled. Your Uncle Marcus sounds pretty smart. He is, but he can't throw a frisbee very good. Jordan looked at the frisbee in the back seat hopefully. Can you? I'm decent. Want to find out? Yeah. At the park, they started with the frisbee. Ethan threw gentle tosses that Jordan could catch, and Jordan threw wild ones that went everywhere. But Jordan's laughter was worth chasing down every errant throw. After 30 minutes, they switched to soccer. Ethan set up a makeshift goal using his jacket and a water bottle, and they took turns trying to score. Jordan was getting better. His kicks were more controlled, his aim improving. "Did you play sports when you were little?" Jordan asked during a water break. "I played basketball mostly and some baseball." "Were you good?" "Pretty good. Not good enough to go pro or anything." "What's pro?" "Professional. Like getting paid to play sports as your job." Jordan's eyes widened. "You can do that?" "Some people can, if they're really, really good." "I want to be really, really good." Jordan kicked the ball experimentally. "Then I could play sports and you could come watch me." "I'll come watch you whether you're pro or not," Ethan said quietly. Jordan grinned and ran back to the goal. They played until Jordan declared he was starving to death, which Ethan learned was 6-year-old for moderately hungry. "What do you want to eat?" Ethan asked. "Chicken nuggets." "Chicken nuggets it is." They stopped at a fast food place on the way back to Maya's apartment. Jordan ordered a kid's meal and was delighted by the toy that came with it, a small plastic dinosaur. "Look, it's like Rexy." He made the dinosaur walk across the table. "Now Rexy has a friend." "What are you going to name this one?" Jordan thought seriously. "Spike, because he has spikes on his back." Spike is a great name. As Jordan ate his nuggets and played with Spike, Ethan found himself just watching, memorizing details. The way Jordan's nose scrunched when he concentrated, the smudge of ketchup on his cheek, the pure, unself-conscious joy in his movements. This was his son, his child, part of him. "Ethan," Jordan's voice pulled him back. "Are you okay? You look sad." "I'm not sad. I'm happy." "Then why do you look like you're going to cry?" Ethan laughed. "Sometimes people cry when they're happy." "That's weird." "Yeah, it is kind of weird." Jordan wiped his hands on a napkin. "Can I ask you something? Anything? Where were you? Before, I mean." "Before you knew about me." Ethan chose his words carefully. "I was living in a different city, working a lot, building my business. I didn't know your mom was going to have a baby. You. If I had known, I would have been there. I promise." "Mama says you didn't know because she couldn't tell you." "That's right. Why couldn't she tell you?" "It's complicated, buddy. Grown-up stuff that's hard to explain." Jordan accepted this with a nod. "Uncle Marcus says you used to make Mama really happy." "Before. I hope I did. Do you think you could make her happy again?" The question was so innocent, so hopeful, it broke something open in Ethan's chest. "I'm going to try," he said honestly. "But right now, the most important thing is you and me, getting to know each other, becoming a real family." "We're already a real family," Jordan said matter-of-factly. "You're my dad. That makes us family." "You're right. It does." Jordan finished his nuggets and declared himself ready to go home. "Mama will be waiting. She worries if I'm late." They drove back to the apartment. Jordan talked the whole way, telling Ethan about a movie he wanted to see, a book he was reading, a friend's birthday party coming up. "Can you come to the party with me?" Jordan asked. "It's at a place with laser tag." "When is it?" 2 Saturdays from now." "Then yes, I'll come. If your mom says it's okay." "She will. She says yes to most things now that you're here." Ethan wasn't sure what to make of that, but it made his heart beat faster. When they pulled up to Maya's building, she was sitting on the front steps, her phone in her hand. She stood as soon as she saw the car, relief flooding her face. Jordan jumped out. "Mama, we played soccer and frisbee and Ethan bought me chicken nuggets and look." He held up the toy dinosaur. "His name is Spike." Maya hugged him. "Sounds like you had a great time." "The best time." Jordan looked between them. "Can Ethan come up, just for a little bit?" Maya glanced at Ethan. He could see the hesitation in her eyes, the protective walls going up. "Just for a few minutes," Ethan said. "I want to hear about your day too." She nodded slowly. "Okay, just for a few minutes." They went upstairs. Jordan immediately launched into a detailed recap of everything they'd done, showing Maya the soccer ball and demonstrating his improved kicking technique in the living room. "Inside voice and inside behavior," Maya reminded him gently. "Save the kicking for outside. But I want to show you. You can show me tomorrow at the park." Jordan sighed dramatically, but settled down on the couch with Spike and Rexy, making them have elaborate dinosaur conversations. Maya gestured for Ethan to follow her to the kitchen. She poured herself a glass of water and leaned against the counter. "Thank you," she said quietly, "for today. He hasn't stopped smiling since you picked him up." "It was my pleasure, really." Ethan stayed near the doorway, giving her space. "He's an amazing kid, Maya." "He is." Her voice was soft, proud. "He's everything to me. I can see that. And I promise I'm not trying to disrupt what you've built. I just want to be part of it. She studied him for a moment. It's strange, having you here, in my home, with Jordan. 7 years ago, I used to imagine this, you meeting him, being a family, but it was always just a fantasy, something to help me get through the hard days. And now it's real, and I don't know how to handle that. She set down her water glass. Every time I look at you with him, I see everything we could have had, and everything I had to do without. I'm sorry. I know you are, and I believe you mean it. But sorry doesn't give me back 6 years. Her eyes glistened. Sorry doesn't erase all the nights I cried myself to sleep because I was so tired and so alone and so scared I was failing him. You didn't fail him. Look at him, Maya. He's happy and healthy and smart and kind. You did that, all by yourself. I didn't have a choice. I know. Ethan stepped closer, carefully. But you have one now. You can choose whether to let me be part of this. Really part of it. And I understand if you decide the answer is no. If you decide it's too risky, too hard, too painful. But Maya, his voice cracked, please give me a chance. Let me prove I can do this. She looked at him for a long moment, tears sliding down her cheeks. I want to. I'm just so scared. Of what? Of believing in you again. Of letting Jordan believe in you. And then, she wiped her eyes. And then, watching you leave when things get hard. I'm not going to leave. You don't know that. You can't promise that. Yes, I can. He took another step closer. Maya, I called off my wedding. I'm restructuring my entire life. I'm not doing that because I'm caught up in some emotional moment. I'm doing it because I finally understand what actually matters. Jordan matters. Yes, and so do you. She shook her head. Don't. Please don't make this about us. It is about us, though. All 3 of us. We're connected, Maya. We always have been. And maybe it's messy and complicated and scary, but that doesn't make it less real. Ethan, I'm not asking you to trust me completely right now. I'm not asking you to forgive everything. I'm just asking you to let me show up. Every day. For Jordan and for you. Let me prove I mean what I say. Before she could respond, Jordan called from the living room. Mama, can we have spaghetti for dinner? And can Ethan stay? Maya closed her eyes briefly, then called back, We'll see, honey. She looked at Ethan. You should go. This is already complicated enough. Okay. He didn't argue. Can I see him tomorrow? You're moving very fast. I have 6 years to make up for. You can't make up for 6 years in 6 weeks, Ethan. I know, but I can try. He pulled out his phone. What if I picked him up from school again tomorrow? We could go to the library. He mentioned he needs books for his Mars project. Maya bit her lip. He has soccer practice tomorrow, 4:30 to 5:30. I'll take him. You don't know where the field is, so tell me, or better yet, come with us. She looked surprised. What? Come with us. You can watch practice, make sure I don't mess anything up, and afterward the 3 of us could grab dinner, something simple. Ethan, I don't think... Please. He knew he was pushing, but he couldn't help it. I want to be part of his routine, all of it. School pickups and soccer practice and homework and bedtime stories. But I also want you there, because you're part of this too. I don't know if I can do that. Her voice was barely a whisper. Spend time with you like we're something we're not. What if we could be? Don't. She wrapped her arms around herself. Don't say things like that when you don't mean them. I do mean them. You don't know what you mean. 3 days ago, you were engaged to someone else. 3 days ago, you had a completely different life planned. You can't just throw all that away and expect to step into this one like nothing happened. I'm not expecting that. I know this is complicated. I know I hurt you. I know I have to earn your trust again. He moved closer, close enough that he could see the gold flecks in her brown eyes. But Maya, when I look at you, I don't see the past. I see the future. A real future. One I actually want. Her breath caught. Ethan. Mama. Jordan appeared in the doorway. Are you crying again? Did Ethan make you sad? No, baby. Maya quickly wiped her eyes. I'm not sad, just tired. Jordan looked suspicious but accepted this. He turned to Ethan. Are you leaving? Yeah, buddy. I need to go. But I'll see you tomorrow, okay? At school? Ethan glanced at Maya. She nodded almost imperceptibly. At school, he confirmed. And then we're going to your soccer practice. Jordan's face lit up. Really? You're coming to my practice? Wouldn't miss it. Jordan ran over and hugged Ethan's legs. This is the best week ever. Ethan crouched down and hugged him properly. For me too, Jordan. For me too. He stood and met Maya's eyes over Jordan's head. She looked conflicted, scared, but also something else. Something that looked almost like hope. Tomorrow, he said softly. Tomorrow, she agreed. The next afternoon, Ethan picked Jordan up from school and drove him to the soccer field on the edge of town. It was a community space with several fields, goals that had seen better days, and a small set of bleachers. Maya was already there, sitting in the middle of the bleachers with a few other parents. She waved when she saw them. Jordan grabbed his soccer cleats from his bag and ran toward the field, where other kids were already warming up. Ethan climbed the bleachers and sat next to Maya, leaving a respectful distance between them. "Hey," he said. "Hey." She handed him a water bottle. "You'll want this. It's warm out here." "Thanks." They sat in silence for a moment, watching Jordan join the other kids. A coach was organizing them into drills, simple passing exercises, dribbling around cones. "He's not very coordinated yet," Maya said, "but he tries so hard. He's 6, he's doing great for 6. Some of the other kids are better. I worry he'll get frustrated and want to quit." "Has he said he wants to quit?" "No, he loves it, even when he falls or misses the ball." She smiled softly. "He just gets up and tries again. Wonder where he gets that from." She glanced at him. "What do you mean? You got pregnant at 21, got dumped by your boyfriend, and still finished school while raising a baby. You don't give up either." Maya looked away, but he could see the flush on her cheeks. They watched the practice in comfortable silence. Jordan was enthusiastic, if not skilled, running after the ball with determination. He fell once, scraped his knee, but popped right back up and kept playing. "He got that from you too," Maya said quietly. "The stubbornness." Ethan laughed. "I prefer to call it persistence. Call it whatever you want. It's still stubbornness." One of the other mothers leaned over. "Is this Jordan's dad?" "Maya, you didn't tell us he was coming." Maya's smile became tight. "This is Ethan. Yes, he's Jordan's father." The woman's eyes widened with curiosity. "How wonderful. Jordan talks about you all the time now. He's so excited." "I'm excited too," Ethan said honestly. The woman introduced herself as Tyler's mom, the friend Jordan had mentioned. They chatted briefly before she turned back to watch the practice. Maya leaned closer to Ethan and whispered, "That's going to be all over the parent group chat within 10 minutes. Does that bother you?" "I don't know. I've spent 6 years as the single mom, the one everyone felt sorry for. Now suddenly you're here and everyone's going to have opinions. Let them have opinions. The only opinions that matter are yours and Jordan's." She smiled slightly. "When did you get so wise?" "I'm not wise. I'm just trying not to mess this up." Practice ended at 5:30. Jordan ran over, sweaty and grinning. "Did you see me? Did you see that goal I almost made?" "I saw. You were so close." Ethan high-fived him. "Next time for sure. Coach says I'm improving. He says if I practice more I could be really good." "Then we'll practice more," Ethan promised. They walked to the parking lot together. Ethan had made a reservation at a family-friendly restaurant nearby. Nothing fancy, just a place with good food and a relaxed atmosphere. When they arrived, Jordan was delighted to discover they had crayons and paper menus to color on. He immediately started drawing while they waited for their food. Maya watched him, then looked at Ethan. "You didn't have to do this. Take us to dinner, I mean." "I wanted to. Besides, I'm hungry and I assume you are too." "I am. But Ethan, this feels like—" She stopped. "Like what?" "Like a family dinner. Like we're together. Aren't we?" "You know what I mean." He did. She meant together as in a couple, as in something more than co-parents. "Would that be so bad?" he asked quietly. "I don't know. Maybe. Probably." She twisted her napkin. "I don't want Jordan to get confused about what we are." "What are we?" "His parents, that's all. That doesn't have to be all." "Ethan, please. Look, I'm not pushing for anything. I know it's too soon. I know I have to earn your trust. But Maya—" He reached across the table and carefully, slowly placed his hand over hers. "I'm not going anywhere. And eventually, when you're ready, I'd like the chance to see if we could be something more than just Jordan's parents." She stared at their hands. She didn't pull away. "I can't think about that right now," she whispered. "It's too much." "Okay, then we won't think about it right now." He squeezed her hand gently, then let go. "We'll just have dinner, as Jordan's parents. And maybe, if you're feeling generous, as friends." She smiled slightly. "Friends? I think I can do friends." "Then friends it is." Jordan looked up from his coloring. "Are you guys done being weird now? Because I want to show you my drawing." They both laughed. The tension broke. And for the rest of the dinner, they were just 3 people sharing a meal. Easy, comfortable, almost normal. Almost like a family. Over the next week, a routine developed. Ethan picked Jordan up from school most days. Sometimes they went to the park, sometimes the library. Once they went to a science museum where Jordan spent an hour in the space exhibit, asking a million questions Ethan did his best to answer. Maya joined them for dinner twice more. Each time it felt a little more natural. The awkwardness faded. The conversation flowed easier. Jordan was thriving. He talked constantly about my dad. My dad took me to the museum. My dad helped me with my homework. My dad says I'm getting really good at soccer. And slowly, carefully, Maya began to relax. Began to trust that Ethan meant what he said, that he was really here to stay. On Friday, a week and a half after their first meeting at the studio, the DNA test results came back. Ethan had almost forgotten about it. The test itself felt like a formality. He'd never doubted Jordan was his son, but Maya had insisted they needed official confirmation for legal purposes. He opened the email while sitting in his office. The words confirmed what he already knew. 99.9% probability of paternity. Jordan was his son, officially, legally, undeniably. He forwarded the email to Maya and then called her. She answered on the second ring. I just saw it. He's mine. I know. Her voice was soft. I always knew. What happens now, legally, I mean? We figure it out, child support arrangements, custody, all of that. She paused. I have a lawyer friend who could help if you want. Okay, yeah, let's do it right. Ethan? She sounded hesitant. This doesn't change anything, does it? You being on paper as his father. What do you mean? I mean you're not going to suddenly get weird about custody or try to take him away from me or… Maya, no. God, no. I would never try to take him from you. You're his mum. You're everything to him. He heard her exhale in relief. Okay, good. I needed to hear you say it. I want shared custody eventually, real 50-50 if possible, but that's something we build toward, not something I demand right away. He leaned back in his chair. Right now I just want to keep showing up, keep proving I'm serious. You're doing that. He asks about you constantly, gets excited every time he knows he's going to see you. Yeah? Yeah. Her voice warmed. You're good with him, Ethan, really good. I didn't expect… She stopped. Didn't expect what? I didn't expect you to be such a natural at this. At being a dad. The words settled into his chest, warm and precious. I'm just following his lead, he makes it easy. He does, doesn't he? She laughed softly. He's special. I always thought so, but I figured I was biased. You're not biased. He really is special. They were quiet for a moment. Then Maya said, So speaking of Jordan, he has his school play next week, Tuesday evening. He's very excited about you coming. I wouldn't miss it. It's at 6:30. Should last about an hour. She hesitated. It's kind of a big deal for him. He's been practicing his tree pose for weeks. Ethan smiled. His tree pose. He's tree number 3. He has to stand very still and occasionally sway in the breeze. He takes it very seriously. Then I will take it very seriously too. So I'll be there. Okay, good. Another pause. Marcus is coming too, and my mom, she's flying in for the week. She wants to meet you. Ethan's stomach flipped. Your mom wants to meet me? Don't sound so terrified. She's actually really nice. She just also happens to be protective of her grandson and the daughter who raised him alone. So I should expect a shovel talk similar to Marcus's. Probably worse. My mom doesn't hold back. Great. Looking forward to it. Maya laughed. You'll be fine. Just be yourself. The version of yourself you are with Jordan, not the millionaire businessman version. There's a difference? You know there is. When you're with Jordan, you're real. You're not performing or trying to impress anyone. That's the version my mom needs to see. Okay, real version, got it. And Ethan? Her voice softened. Thank you for all of this, for showing up, for being patient with me. You don't have to thank me. I do, though, because I know this isn't easy. I know I'm not making it easy. Maya, you're protecting your son and yourself. I don't blame you for that. I'll earn your trust however long it takes. He heard her breath catch. I'm starting to believe you mean that. I do mean it. I know. She was quiet for a moment. I should go. Jordan will be home from Marcus's soon, and I need to start dinner. Okay? I'll see you Tuesday? Tuesday, 6:30. Don't be late. I won't be. They hung up. Ethan sat in his office, staring at the DNA results on his screen, and felt something shift inside him. This was real. This was his life now. Not the empty success he'd been chasing, not the perfect image he'd been trying to project. This. Maya and Jordan, showing up, being present, choosing love over fear. For the first time in 7 years, he felt like he was exactly where he was supposed to be. Tuesday evening arrived too quickly. Ethan stood in his closet, trying to decide what to wear to a first-grade school play. Too formal would be weird. Too casual might seem like he didn't care. He settled on dark jeans and a button-down shirt. Nice, but not overdone. He arrived at the school at 6:15, giving himself extra time. The parking lot was already full of families. Inside, the hallways were decorated with children's artwork and handmade posters advertising the play. He found the auditorium and scanned the crowd. Maya waved from the third row. She'd saved him a seat between her and an older woman who had to be her mother. Same warm brown eyes, same gentle smile. Ethan. Maya stood as he approached. "This is my mom, Diane." "Mom, this is Ethan Walsh." Diane looked him up and down, her expression unreadable. Then she extended her hand. "So you're the man who broke my daughter's heart and missed 6 years of my grandson's life." "Mom," Maya hissed. "It's okay," Ethan said, shaking Diane's hand. "Yes, ma'am, I am, and I'm sorry for both of those things, more sorry than I can express." Diane studied him for a long moment. Then she nodded and sat back down. "We'll talk after the play. For now, sit. It's about to start." Ethan sat between Maya and her mother, feeling like he was being evaluated from both sides. Marcus sat on the other side of Diane, shooting Ethan a look that clearly said good luck. The lights dimmed. The curtain opened. A group of first graders filed onto the stage, dressed in various costumes. Animals, trees, clouds, the sun. And there was Jordan, third tree from the left, wearing brown pants and a green shirt with paper leaves taped to his arms. He spotted them in the audience and his whole face lit up. He waved enthusiastically, breaking character completely. Maya waved back, laughing quietly. The play was exactly what you'd expect from 6-year-olds. Sweet, chaotic, mostly incomprehensible. Kids forgot their lines. One cloud wandered off stage mid-scene. A butterfly spent the entire time picking his nose. But Jordan stood perfectly still in his tree pose, swaying gently whenever the narrator mentioned wind. He took his role seriously, just like Maya said. When the play ended, the kids took a bow. Jordan looked right at their row and grinned so wide it made Ethan's chest ache. "He was perfect," Diane whispered. "My perfect little tree." "He really was," Ethan agreed. After the play, families gathered in the hallway. Jordan came running out, still wearing his tree costume, and launched himself at Maya. "Did you see me? I didn't move even once." "You were amazing, baby." Maya kissed the top of his head. "The best tree in the whole forest." "Grandma, did you see?" Jordan turned to Diane. "I saw, my love. You made me so proud." Diane hugged him, then gently turned him toward Ethan. "And did you see that your dad came too?" Jordan's eyes found Ethan's. "You came." "Of course I came. You invited me, remember?" "I know, but—" Jordan's voice dropped to a whisper. "Tyler's dad said maybe you wouldn't come. That new dads sometimes don't show up for stuff." Ethan crouched down to Jordan's eye level. "Tyler's dad doesn't know me, and he doesn't know that I promised you I'd be here. I keep my promises, Jordan. Always." Jordan studied him seriously, then nodded. "Okay, good." Then his smile returned. "Did you think I was a good tree? The best tree I've ever seen. Better than real trees? Way better than real trees." Jordan giggled and hugged him. Over the boy's head, Ethan met Maya's eyes. She was crying. Happy tears, he thought. Maybe. Diane cleared her throat. "All right, family meeting. We're all going to get ice cream and celebrate Jordan's theatrical debut. No arguments." They piled into cars, Marcus and Diane in one, Maya, Jordan, and Ethan in another, and drove to the ice cream shop near Maya's apartment. Over enormous sundaes, Jordan recounted the play in exhaustive detail. Every moment, every line, every time someone messed up or did something funny. Diane asked Ethan questions, gentle ones at first, then sharper. What were his plans for being involved in Jordan's life? How did he plan to balance work with parenting? What happened if he got into another relationship? Ethan answered honestly. He didn't have all the answers. He was figuring it out as he went. But he was committed, completely committed. Finally, Diane sat back and looked at Maya. "What do you think?" "About what?" Maya asked. "About him. About all of this." Maya glanced at Ethan, then back at her mother. "I think he's trying. Really trying. And I think Jordan deserves to have his father in his life. And what about what you deserve?" Maya's cheeks flushed. "Mom, this isn't about me." "Of course it's about you. You're part of this too." Diane looked at Ethan. "My daughter spent 7 years rebuilding herself after you left. 7 years learning to be happy again. If you're going to be part of her life, and by extension Jordan's life, I need to know you understand what's at stake." "I do understand," Ethan said quietly. "And I'm not going to hurt her again. I'm not going to hurt either of them." You can't promise that. Life is complicated. You're right. But I can promise that I'll try, that I'll show up, that I'll choose them over everything else. Diane held his gaze for a long moment, then nodded slowly. All right, you get your chance. But if you mess this up, he won't, Jordan interrupted, looking between the adults with confusion. He won't mess up. Right, Ethan? Right, Ethan promised. I won't. Jordan smiled and went back to his ice cream, satisfied. Later, after they'd dropped Diane and Marcus at Diane's hotel, Ethan walked Maya and Jordan up to their apartment. Jordan was fading fast, his eyes drooping as he clutched Spike and Rexy in each hand. Someone's tired, Maya observed. I'm not tired, Jordan mumbled, then yawned hugely. Sure you're not. She unlocked the door. Say goodnight to Ethan. Jordan turned and hugged Ethan's legs. Thank you for coming to my play. Thank you for inviting me. Can you come read to me tomorrow? Ethan looked at Maya. She nodded. Absolutely. What time? After dinner. 7 o'clock. I'll be here at 7. Jordan smiled sleepily and shuffled inside. Maya lingered in the doorway. He's getting attached, she said softly. Is that bad? I don't know. It scares me. If something happened, if you changed your mind, it would destroy him. I'm not changing my mind. You say that now. Maya, he stepped closer. I know you're scared. I know you have every reason to be, but I need you to hear me, really hear me. I'm not leaving, not Jordan, not you. I'm here for the long haul. Her eyes searched his face. What do you want from me, Ethan? Really? Honestly? He took a breath. Everything. I want to be Jordan's dad. I want to be part of your life. I want... He stopped himself. You want what? I want us to be a family. A real family. Not just co-parents who tolerate each other for Jordan's sake. I want what we had 7 years ago, but better, stronger, built on honesty and trust, and... She kissed him. It was sudden, unexpected, and over almost before it began. She pulled back immediately, her eyes wide. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have... Don't apologize. His voice was rough. Please don't apologize. This is a bad idea. We should focus on Jordan. We can't... Why can't we? Because it's too soon, too complicated, too risky. Or maybe it's exactly the right time. He reached up and gently tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. Maya, I know I'm asking a lot. I know I hurt you, but I also know that when I'm with you and Jordan, I'm happier than I've been in 7 years. And I hope, you feel something too. I do. Her voice was barely a whisper. I feel too much. That's the problem. That's not a problem. That's a gift. She laughed shakily. You always knew what to say. Then believe me now when I say I love you. I never stopped loving you, Maya, and I want a chance to prove it. Tears spilled down her cheeks. You can't just say things like that. Why not? It's true. Because I want to believe you so badly it hurts. Because Jordan's starting to love you, and I'm starting to trust you, and if this falls apart, it won't fall apart. You don't know that. Then let me prove it. He cupped her face gently. Give me time. Let me show you this is real. She closed her eyes, leaning into his touch. Okay, but slowly, we go slowly. As slow as you need. She opened her eyes and smiled through her tears. You're making this very hard to resist. Good. I don't want you to resist. She laughed and gently pushed him away. Go home, Ethan. Before I do something else impulsive. I'll see you tomorrow, 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, she confirmed. He walked down the stairs, his heart pounding, his lips still tingling from that brief, perfect kiss. He'd meant every word. He loved her, loved Jordan, wanted this life more than anything he'd ever wanted, and for the first time he believed it was possible, that they could be a family, that second chances were real, that sometimes the broken things could be made whole again. The weeks that followed fell into a rhythm that felt more natural every day. Ethan picked Jordan up from school, helped with homework, attended soccer games. He read bedtime stories, built blanket forts, learned the names of every dinosaur and planet. And slowly, carefully, he and Maya rebuilt what they'd lost. They didn't rush. They took it one day at a time, but the connection was still there, stronger now, deepened by time and pain and the shared love of their son. One Saturday morning, 6 weeks after that first shocking reunion, Ethan arrived at Maya's apartment with lumber and tools in his truck. Jordan ran to the window when he heard the truck pull up. Mama, Ethan's here, and he has wood. Maya came to the window, confused. What's all this? Ethan grinned up at them. I promised Jordan a treehouse. I always keep my promises. Jordan screamed with excitement and ran for the door. Maya followed, shaking her head but smiling. You're serious about this? Completely serious. Marcus is meeting us at the park, the one with the good climbing trees. We're going to build it today. All of you? All of us, if you want to help. Maya looked at Jordan's ecstatic face, then at Ethan's hopeful one, and laughed. Okay. Let me get my shoes. They spent the day at the park, building a simple but sturdy treehouse with Marcus's help. Jordan supervised enthusiastically, handing them tools and offering suggestions. By late afternoon it was done, small but perfect, with a rope ladder and a sign that said Jordan's Castle that Jordan had painted himself. Jordan climbed up immediately, declaring it the best treehouse in the whole world. Ethan stood with Maya at the base of the tree, watching their son beam with pride. You really built him a treehouse, Maya said softly. I told you I would. I know, but I guess part of me still didn't believe it. Didn't believe you'd follow through. He turned to face her. I'm going to follow through on everything, Maya. Every promise, every commitment, everything. She looked up at him, her eyes shining. I'm starting to believe that. Good. He took her hand carefully. Because I mean it, all of it. Jordan called down from the treehouse. Come up, both of you, you have to see the view. They climbed up carefully, testing each step, and squeezed into the small space with Jordan. See? Jordan pointed. You can see everything from here. The whole park and the playground and even the ice cream shop. It's perfect, Maya agreed. Jordan looked between his parents, then grinned. This is the best day. We're like a real family. Ethan and Maya exchanged glances. We are a real family, Ethan said softly. We really are. And in that moment, sitting in a treehouse in a park with the two people he loved most in the world, Ethan knew it was true. He'd lost 7 years. He'd made terrible mistakes. He'd hurt people and wasted time and built a life that looked perfect but felt empty. But he'd found his way back, to Maya, to Jordan, to the life he was always meant to live. Welcome home, Maya whispered, echoing her words from weeks ago. Ethan kissed her softly, then pulled Jordan into a hug. I'm home, he agreed. Finally home, and for the first time in 7 years, everything felt right. The end.